What is up, everybody? It is me, DevilNeverCry, and we are back with another Vergil S rank run on Vergil Must Die difficulties. We get straight into the first encounter, fighting across the flooded rooftops. One of my favorite locales. Mission 2, Mission 3, really starting off the game strong with a variety of locales. Picturesque, you could say. Great backdrop for you to slay demons too, if that makes sense. But yeah, we're going to make our way through the flooded rooftops into the sewers, because that's always fun, right? Can't have a game without a sewer level. Brilliant. As we climax, shall we say, in the library, which don't do that. You'll probably get arrested for public indecency. But hey ho, I digress. The mission finishes, shall we say, with Artemis, which houses Lady, which makes no sense in the context of this game unless you go snooping around in the enemy files, character files, as well as the some of the other material, like the before the Nightmare novel, I think Artemis was somewhat mentioned. But basically, Trish takes Artemis with her when Dante, Lady, and Trish go off to fight Urizen the first time before they get their ass kicked. And Urizen ends up making this demon out of the Artemis weapon, along with Lady at its core. And so there you have it, a layman's sort of guide, or I suppose explanation of what the hell Artemis is doing here. And Gilgamesh, yeah, Gilgamesh is interesting. Turns out Gilgamesh is just an organic demonic metal, and so anything and everything could be Gilgamesh. There's probably somebody out there who's thought up a Gilgamesh dildo. There, I've said it. It's out in the open. Can't be taken back now. That thought will forever pervade your mind. And as I struggle to find where I'm going on these rooftops, I know the general direction, but I find the launching pad eventually, and we make our way there. There are a couple of other things to do on these rooftops. You can find a few blow-up fragments, as well as some other encounters, but we don't need any of those, so we're going to stick right in. And this upcoming encounter with the Rages, the Riots even. Rages, what is this? DMC DevilNeverCry, the reboot? I almost skipped these Riots and the hentai tentacles. I turn away, I'm about to just walk on past, and then somebody let something slip about, my motivation being low, and that's it. Vergil he switches on, not turns on, switches on, and just goes to town on them. And it was a good idea, because I believe this encounter actually raises my overall style point. How many I've got, the cumulative amount, shall I say. As I said, there are some encounters you do want to skip, which is the antithesis of DMC. Being stylish by skipping encounters and not fighting, kind of weird. And something I hope doesn't make a return in whatever future Devil May Cry titles there are. So we make our way through here. But yeah, sewer level. Can't have a DMC without a sewer level. You've got one in DMC 1. DMC 2, I suppose you can count some of the underpasses maybe as a sewer. DMC 3, I guess you've got the lower parts of the Temenegru. Not necessarily a sewer, but we do have a sewer in DMC 4 we go through at one point. And here we are in DMC 5. I actually brought the other flying purple goat demon from the outside encounter, and I brought it into this one, grouping it together so that I didn't have to fight it alone on the off chance that it actually causes my style points to degrade. So it was more of a tactical move to bring it in here, and the Judgment Cut end makes quick work of a lot of enemies in this encounter anyway, so it seemed like a no-brainer. But yeah, I'm not sure why they brought back Riots. I mean, this game brought back a lot of DMC 1 sort of enemies and just factors altogether. The DMC 1 factor, we'll call it. But they didn't bring back the blades or the assaults, which was interesting. Maybe they didn't want this to be too much of an ultimate throwback, perhaps. Didn't want to go too heavy-handed on the nostalgia. But responding to some of the comments I've got and some of the other Vergil S rank missions I've done, a lot of people seem to think that Vergil must die or Dante must die is very easy with Vergil, and that, you know, Capcom have made it that way, but it's more to do with the fact that Vergil is just very overpowered. He is just on another level. He was that way in DMC 3, DMC 4, and in this game as well. And of course, even other games like, you know, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the absolute bane of some players' existence when they see Vergil pop up on the matchmaking screen. As we take care of these Sin Scissors, or try to in the library, but they end up slapping us over the head with a couple of big thick dictionaries, and we have to use the Weld V to get some of our health back. But you know, that's the beauty of Vergil, that you don't really have to, you know, trial too hard, because he is that overpowered, and he's got such versatile and useful moves like Weld V that give you health back, as well as make you invulnerable to damage during the entire animation. But we make quick work of the rest of these Sin Scissors in this library. As we see tons of books, Vergil fanfic be sliced to pieces and thrown around. I'm surprised we didn't get more locales like this. I really think DMC5 could have benefited from some other more intricate, I guess, level design or environment design, I guess you could say. Which I think is a sentiment a lot of people share, because the rest of the game is just climb off the tree, the game. As we continue on getting the all S rank. What's interesting here is that the music in the background is not exactly playing, and I'm trying to figure out why. Quite weird to not have it play during that entire encounter, but you know, we get through that quite easily. Still got over 6,000 style points, so you know, we're sailing smoothly as long as we don't die towards this next boss, you know, and we don't, you know, do terribly in regards to kicking ass and getting them style points up. We should be perfectly fine. Should be perfectly fine. And we go for the age-old tactic of just judgment, chain judgment cuts, because it just makes sense. I whip out the doppelganger at one point so we can get the old double team going, the old spit roast as people like to call it. And we make quick work of Artemis. A lot of the projectile moves from this boss tend to give players like Nero trouble, because there's not a lot of get out of jail free cards, if that makes sense. There's not a lot of ways to avoid those projectiles, but with Vergil you can backdash to your heart's content. You can trick to your heart's content, and even things like Welder V will save you in a pinch if you really need it. As we send this thing crashing down to the ground. And I go for a standard Beowulf combo here, because if you try and hit her with a charged Rising Dragon at that point when Artemis is on the floor, you'll miss. You'll completely miss. You'll hit initially, and because you obviously rise up into the air for the uppercut, you'll miss the rest of your attacks. So it'd be a waste. That's why I went for the standard combo there. Be sure to keep away when she does the aerial burst move there, because it will throw you quite a distance and do some damage. As I literally use Welder V there just to take advantage of the iframes. Does almost no damage at this point, especially in an arena this large, but it looks as though we actually almost parry Artemis out of her charge move, which is it's pretty cool. Made for a bit of a cinematic moment there. Speaking of cinematic, I see some people have tried to play this game without the heads-up display, especially on PC, and whilst I think it does look more cinematic and cool, it can be very hard to keep track of, you know, what weapons you've got equipped and sort of how much health you've got and how much DT you've got, especially on this difficulty, as we take a massive, massive hit there. This difficulty does not mess around when it comes to damage. One thing's for sure. So I take my time with finishing this boss. But it should come as no surprise whatsoever, that is the S rank. It has been me, DevilNeverCry. I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and as always, I'll see you all next video.